Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Jessica Rich and I am a self-wellness coach. And on this channel, we talk about all things that help you become a better version of yourself. So it is Sunday, May 19th, and I am 24 hours out from my second in-person event, Embrace Your Worthiness, a self-worth soiree. And I am so happy it's over. This year I did things a little differently. Last year I was really hands-on, so I got an event planner so I can really be in the moment. And I have to tell you all, the panel conversation was absolutely excellent. It was more than I ever could have prayed for. The engagement, the questions, the way the panelists bounced off one another, they fed off one another, the energy, the engagement from the audience, but then always not just hearing from the questions from the attendees, but the feedback, the impact, what it made people think about, and as they left, like already like this is what I need to do, thinking about how they've settled or were settling or how they've questioned their worth. And these are individuals that are coming from all different walks of life, different ages. We had men and women sharing, just talking about like the impact of being in the room. So I am blessed and grateful to have another event in the books. And, I was very passionate to bring this event forward, although men are not a part of my community. I know that there are men who watch my YouTube channel. I know there are men that um, follow me on social media. I know there are men that listen to my podcast, but I've always said that me working with men specifically is not my ministry, but I am passionate about the men in our community and wanting them to become a better version of themselves. So to have three men on the panel, and two were therapists, one was a mental health advocate, and a coach was just more than what I could ever imagine. And I even had some women share that they had never been in a room with that many mental health advocates or therapists or coaches that were men. So it was just it was an overall wonderful experience. I'm grateful. It is a lesson learned. I'm going to keep learning lessons when it comes to these events, what you can do better, what are things to consider. I do love that this time around I could truly be in the moment, because last year I was so hands-on that I felt like it was just a blur. But this year, I was able to, moderate when it came to the panel discussion, but then also be present because I hired an event planner. So that really helped, and things went very smoothly. So I'm so happy. So I want to talk about what's next for me and for those that are part of this community. I know I mentioned on another video, but our women's improvement calls are coming back. I am going to change the name to Women Improvement Network, the Women Improvement Network, and we will pick that back up in June. Super excited for that topic. For those of you who have either watched the podcast or been on the calls, Revlon will be our speaker next month, and we all know that she is amazing and impactful. So she's going to be great to kick us off, as it has been too long since we have connected. So I'm super excited about that. Then, as most of you all know, or those of you who follow me on social media, I have the Thailand retreat coming up in August, and I'm super excited about that. I feel like we are at a good place. We're about, oh my gosh, we're like almost 60 days out soon. We almost approaching 2 months. So time is approaching very quickly, where I and 10 women will be going to Thailand for a week. So super excited about that. And then there's some other exciting things that are coming forward that I can't wait to share with you all. But the real purpose of this was listening to yourself and being obedient. So last year, when the crazy part is, so in 2022 is when I thought about the first event, and I had somebody in mind that I wanted to be the speaker. And it's like I was kind of avoiding it. And I may have talked about this before. Like I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Sounds like a lot of work. And then last year, the same thing happened when it came with the self-worth event. And I would just encourage anyone that if something's placed on your heart, and you know that it's something you're passionate about, or it's a topic that you want to discuss, that you see comes up a lot, and maybe you're giving advice, or it's just you're really passionate about it, you're going through it and you want to share with others, and God is leading you to it, right? And you're like, no, and it keeps coming up, like, don't be afraid to step out and like bet on yourself and do it. Last year, there were a lot of things that I learned when it came to hosting in-person events. A lot of money that has to be spent that I think most individuals who host these events understand that. But it wasn't necessarily about the money, it was about the message and what I wanted to pour into others. And it was the same thing this year. And I'm like, you think like, am I doing another event too quickly? You think about all these things to be proactive, to be prepared, and try to think ahead of what can happen. It does not always occur, but sometimes we doubt ourselves, right? Thinking about self-worth, and we have this little, we talk to ourselves that maybe it's not a good time, it's not a good idea, nobody will show up, nobody will like the idea, or I can't do it, whatever it may be. Believe in yourself enough to know that, like, when something comes to your mind, it's an idea, you're passionate about it, it keeps occurring, and like you're being called to do it. Don't be afraid to do it. We all have to give ourselves grace. Something I learned even with this event, everything is not going to be perfect, but something that was shared with me at my event last year was, who knows what was supposed to happen other than you? It may be one other person, right? The event planner. We don't know if anything's going wrong. And I think that was important for me this year, because some of the things that did not go right, I was able to gather myself very quickly, where maybe in the past it would have really, really bothered me, and maybe my attitude and my energy. And here I am having these people come out to support me and be a part of the experience, and that could have affected me. So if you start to doubt yourself when you're thinking about something that has been placed on your heart to do, whether it's events, calls, a career, anything, don't let self-doubt come in and talk you out of it. Don't self-sabotage it. Believe that you can be successful. And if you don't know, there are so many resources that can help you. Sometimes those resources could, cost you financially if you're looking for a coach or someone who may be an expert in the area to assist you. But don't let that discourage you from doing what you want to do. And I say that because, leading up to this event, it was like it came very quickly. And last night seemed like those 4 hours went that quickly, like a snap. And, it was something that I had been so passionate about and I wanted to see forward. I interviewed panelists, like I met with different therapists to see like who would be a good fit. And everything just came together so perfectly. But I could have let self-doubt creep up as other things were occurring. Last night happened to be like 10 plus events in the DFW area. And although I started like thinking like, oh my gosh, did I pick the wrong weekend? Why didn't I consider this? Why didn't I consider that? And then I just had to say, you know what? You did everything that you could have done. My goal was to plan earlier this year to avoid feeling so rushed as I did last year. And last year, I even dragged my feet on the planning because it was like, can you pull this off? If I'm going to be honest. And this year, I could have probably started painting a little bit earlier, but I still started earlier this year. And then these things that were outside of my control just happened. And, of course, you start talking to yourself. And then I had to be like, okay, you got to get over it. Like, there's nothing you could have done. And I've heard other individuals who are planning things that this past weekend that experienced the same. So I say all that to say, like, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's supposed to happen. Like, as you plan, there's just going to be some things that are absolutely outside of your control, but don't focus on all the what ifs at the beginning. If it's something you want to do, it's been placed on your heart, you're passionate about it, your heart is in the right place on the why, do it. Have a good group of people around you, a community, accountability partners that are going to encourage you, support you, motivate you to do these things, because there are negative Nancy's who will put down into you, why are you hosting this event? How much is it going to cost you? Are you going to make a profit? Do you think people are actually going to show up? Whatever it is. But it's also important to have like a supportive community around you. But I just want to encourage you, like, do not get discouraged. Do not self-sabotage. Do not doubt yourself, and believe in it, because I cannot say enough. If I had not been pouring into myself, I had even I was kind of getting concerned about something, and I finally said, I'm going to surrender. And that's what I did. And I started playing I Surrender All. because I needed to hear, like, you got to let go what's outside of your control, Jessica. And I cannot say how much that prepared me for the hiccups we experienced at the beginning of the event, and it was still an amazing event. So if I can encourage anyone, follow your dreams, follow your hearts. You are worthy and deserving of whatever you want to do. Don't let anyone talk you out of it. And most importantly, don't talk yourself out of it. Pray about it, write about it if you need to journal. Like I said, connect with like-minded people. Just don't talk yourself out of it because you have these fears and these doubts of things that can go wrong, because there's always going to be things that are outside of our control. But just focus on what you control. And even though that's easier said than done, but if you position yourself where you're pouring into yourself and your mind, and as you can see, even for myself, coming back to surrender, Jessica, like release it. And I released it, and what I needed came. So I just want to encourage and inspire someone, because I seen it firsthand with what I thought was going to be the perfect setup of this event, and just those things that occurred that could have discouraged me and caused me to not even be able to receive the love last night. But most importantly, pour into those people who came out to be a part of that experience. So I hope this touched somebody, this connected with someone, this resonated with someone. If it did, drop in the comments and share. Let me know that, it was relatable. If you're going through something like this, if you're open to sharing what that specifically was, we would love to hear from you. But I think this is a season where we can't hold ourselves back because of our own self-doubt, because that is a direct reflection of your worth. You are worth whatever you want to do in the experiences you want to do, and don't let anything hold you back. You can get it. So I hope y'all have a good day. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.